there's a lot of unknowns on the team. The second half of the season, we're going to see some additional BSC points in additional tournaments outside of what's going on here in the monthly finals. So I think SK Gaming sees some of these announcements and goes, we know what's going on. So let's jump on in. Ring of Fire is where we're starting things off. And we see the Max and the Squeak bands as well. No Meg, get used to it. Amber, also going to be a big problem with the Trouble Puddle coming through, slowing everybody. So keep that in mind. But first off the rip, we have, well, the two stunt girls to start us. Bonnie on one side, Janet on the other.
Yeah, the sisters facing each other. Spam is going to be joining the ranks here for Zeta Division. Just get an extra sustainability, survivability brought in by that healing station and try to just get that chip damage from afar as well. I like the ideas from Zeta Division. They've been playing very safe with their drafts, but it's been working out really well so far for them this year. So I don't blame them. SK might want to try to bring some originality. They are the underdogs getting into this one. I mean, I think we saw the predictions from you guys. It was like 82-18 or something along those lines.
Yep.
So very strongly in favor of Zeta. I mean, you know, if you look at the results in 2023, I perfectly get why.
I like the RT selection here. When it comes down to Hot Zone, he's the type of character that might find some struggles figuring out where to play. But when it comes to Hot Zone, put the bottom half on the circle and just spam. Now, recently, small changes. Get a little bit of a nerf in regard to his bottom half damage, but or ability to spam it, but I still think it's there. And then combined with Colonel Ruffs, this is a strong team for SK Gaming. I think Colonel Ruff's a little bit traditional when it comes down to Hot Zone specifically, but in general, just some good brawlers.
Yeah, Ruffs is in a pretty decent place. Feels like it's been one of those brawlers that just hasn't been nerfed or buffed in just such a long time. Just a very sure value that you can bring onto your team. And in the long term as well, if you can get those buffs and those traits out for your teammates, it can be very valuable to ensure that the late game fights are in your favor. Carl as a final pick here from Zeta Division. I like it. Carl just overall very mobile, lots of damage up close and chip damage from afar, able to nicely poke around the walls as well with his pickaxe and try to dislodge opponents from tricky positions, which can happen quite quickly on Ring of Fire as well. To have someone that just pushes up on the right or the left. So right now, looking at the drafts, I feel like both teams really have a shot at it. It's fairly even all around to my eyes.
Yeah, I got to agree there. I don't think there's anything that really totally locks down the position, but I also don't think either team has trouble getting on in there. And so we'll start things off pretty quick. Left side, I'm going to be looking at Colonel Ruffs trying to deal with this Carl, because I think Carl is going to be the skeleton key for Zeta Division as ZD starts things off hot with a nice kill in the right lane. And ultimately, Carl won't have to be that skeleton key if it's his team locking up the point.
Yeah, so far the Ruffs gadgets have been pushing him back quite a bit. But as you said, doesn't really need to be over-aggressive. If the right lane is winning, it's going to be absolutely fine for the left lane to be a bit more passive as long as he's not losing it. Control is going to be favoring Zeta Division, and so far it's dominant, 55% in their favor.
Ooh, this could be an opening here for SK though. There is some presence here. Nice dodges from Meow. Takes to the sky and Chaos toasted. Nice shot from Zeta Division. SK tried to step up. Try being the operative word. 8% in the pocket, but it's 70 and counting for the blue team. Jiro gets a little excited. And that might be the blunder that allows SK to step forward.
Already 70% up is dangerous for SK Gaming. No room for mistakes here as Jenon gets a nice cheeky kill on the right-hand side, takes down Meow. Maybe a shot there for SK to try to get some presence, but Garo is just overextending in the mid, and he can afford to do so. They only need a couple more percentages, and Meow and Naui way too much of a bulk of HP for SK to deal with. They'll lock this game in and take the 1-0 lead.
Zeta Division, they're playing just textbook hot zone. I mean, we saw as their lead got larger, their playstyle got more aggressive and, well, risky. Because at the end of the day, sure, in the beginning, you really can't make that many mistakes. But like you said, when you have 70%, yeah, you can kind of flying hook on in there and go for it. And if you kill everybody, awesome, it's over. And if you don't, well, you still have mad time to play with. So I like Zeta Division's whole approach to this hot zone start one.
Well, start two is not going to be quite as glorious as we have a full-on team white favoring SK Gaming. Building up some nice control. SK have some presence on the right-hand side as well as Chaos is going to be present there. But Garo gets a nice kill on the left to try to relieve some space and create some pressure now favoring Zeta Division. Quickly caught up percentage-wise as well, and the supply drop will destroy the walls, destroy the healing station in the process as well. But it's still full-on control for Zeta for now.
Ooh, the play out of Carl on the left side, making use of the walls and the super. Giro's able to win this left side lane. Worth noting, it's been a lane swap, no longer fighting against the dog man, but this time going in the mid and to the right side. The double kill for the Carl. And just like that, Zeta Division, trouble getting their footing here in game number 2, but, well, they're feeded and they're feeling it.
Looking at the start of this game, it really felt like Zeta might be able to make something happen. Sorry, SK might be able to make something happen, but as we move forward, it is all Zeta on this scoreboard. Yep. Zeta locking in game 2, taking this first set, and I mean, doing it in such a convincing fashion as well. What a start here for Zeta Division.
Yeah, I mean, convincing fashion, excellently said, compatriot. Great, just wonderful. Because game number 1, we saw SK Gaming do a good job of keeping Carl at bay and was like, okay, sure. And Zeta Division adapts by going, all right, fine, you keep our Carl out of the game, that's no problem. We'll win with some of our other characters. And then here, well, Carl did the thing. So they can kind of follow the miner, or they can build around him. Either way, the win's going to come. That's scary when you go up into a set against a strong team and go, well, you had 2 ways to win, and you did both. So Zeta Division, certainly, they're the #1 team, and they're playing like it.
Yeah, the lane swap was interesting because even though it worked out all the way in the beginning of game 2, very, very quickly, somehow Garo, as you said, made it work anyways, and he was kind of killing both lanes regardless, being even more dominant on the left and just allowing himself to, go mid, go right side, just seizing the opportunities and doing what you'd expect from such an aggro Carl. Wonderful stuff from Zeta Division, and SK Gaming are going to need to approach things differently as we move further into this match.
Definitely got to agree with that one. I mean, you take a look at what Zeta Division was able to do and just dominance. Honestly, I think SK Gaming might have gotten into their own head there after loss number 1. Sometimes you lose the game just with the way you press the buttons. I don't think they should have lane swapped. They kept Giro down the entirety of game 1 and still lost. That doesn't mean the approach was wrong. Either way. New game mode, new approach. Out in the open is the map. Knockout is where we are going. We'll see how this one all works out as RT is slam picked off the top. Meg is available. Worth noting. I think I'm in agreement with Arc, Teddy. I think Meg is just evergreen right now.
It's such a terrifying brawler to bring into the mix. I don't know about RT, to be honest. I mean, they played it earlier as well, just a set before, and it didn't really do much, to be honest.
Yeah.
It did get nerfed. It wasn't the biggest nerf. We still see plenty of RT. We still see it work, too. But they got to make it work this time around. Gene, I like it here a lot. The scouting capabilities from your splitting shots is just such wonderful value all around, just being able to get that extra info for your teammates. Similar stuff with Janet really providing a lot of information. White shots, gadget as well, that enables you to get tons of vision in the bushes. Reset heals too, something that Gene will also do. So they'll be really heavy on that side of things, resetting heals and getting information. And you always have that X factor from, getting a great Janet super and maybe even sniping someone from afar, or Gene connecting a big pool So I like their approach, but Otis and then bringing in the Grom 2 is something that I really don't mind from SK. They could find some really good value there too, but right now, draft-wise, I prefer Zeta.
I got to agree mainly off of the RT as the Sprout's locked in here, and we love Sprout. Definitely big Sprout fans. The RT is is what I'm going to talk about with respect to this draft here for SK Gaming. It didn't really work out in the first matchup, but I also think RT was probably the most the character that most importantly leaned on actually getting on the point. So he didn't do anything, but we didn't get a chance to see him do anything. Now, with that said, I feel the same way approaching out in the open. Now, obviously, a little bit tanky from a long distance, so that's something you could lean on, and that's probably why SK selected him overall. But I just feel like that secondary power is kind of left out. So we'll see if half the brawler is going to be good enough as Zeta Division plays from the bottom side. Going to be looking at this Sprout to keep players at bay, but it's the Grom that's up against the Sprout. So Grom's probably the strongest brawler on this SK draft, in my opinion.
I like the Grom a lot. I feel like, facing another thrower on their lane, it's not going to be the hardest for Meow to just get some proper dodges. So I do like that they're moving him a bit more, in the mid. With Grom, you really want to be shooting at a mass of people, because when they're under crossfire in the first place, that's when you get a bit distracted, and then suddenly your Grom shots all connect.
Yeah, it's funny. Grom is the old... It's easy, just don't get hit until you got everything coming at you right now. Chaos sneaking up on the right-hand side, less than half HP, as well as Yoshi. But the gas is sneaking on in here. 3-on-2 as Grom falls down. Make it 3-on-none. Big plays out of Zeta, and it's Giro that gets the last shot.
What a strong start for Zeta, picking up this first round and not dropping a single player in the process. SK need to be on their toes. A nice move onto Garo, overextends there, and that's going to be a kill locked in, but now he is there for the trade, and at the end of the day, it's 2-on-2 with a gene pool available too. Suddenly, things start to look quite good for Zeta again as Meow gets a snipe onto Janin, and realistically, that should be the end of it.
Yeah, it's got to be the end of it, and also... that can't happen, man. I don't know. Not a great look here for SK Gaming. Zeta Division certainly feeling good. They've got set one in the pocket, and they're halfway on their way to claiming set number 2 here, as we get 2 very quick back-to-backs. Zeta even put themselves in a bad spot by losing Bonnie early on, and SK couldn't react as IKS fell down half a second later, making the 2-on-2 Zetas. So we'll take the field again. Clean slate this time. SK Gaming trying to keep things interesting.
We'll have the tiniest of texture bugs here, affecting mostly Zeta Division. Gameplay is going to be all the same, as SK have fairly even control this time around, as we have a bit more of a I can't pronounce it. A split from top right to top left split.
Diagonal, there it is.
Yeah, I got it now. I struggled for a second. But eventually, that Sprite wall is going to be enabling Zeta to build up more control, and this is not looking all that good here for SK Gaming. They're going to have to really push in. IKEOS gets in on his own as the gas was forcing him to go more aggressive, and it's a 3-on-2 that should be easily locked in for Zeta.
A little bit of tilt, I think we see, Teddy. Yes, the gas was forcing the hand of SK Gaming, but they easily could have converged as a team. IKEOS chooses to go in a second or 2 early, so he chooses to die a second or 2 early. Giro takes to the sky, but the gene pull, good. Jetin falls down, so does Chaos. The double kill for Naui, and Yoshi gets finished off here. Nice shot, it's Trips. And that'll claim this one as well. Set 1 and 2 done. Zeta, they are sunny side up.
Rough start of the match for SK Gaming, already 2 sets behind, and now you can see Pedro behind, just looking through his notes and trying to see if there's something maybe to turn things around in set 3, because SK Gaming, they failed to qualify for monthly finals 1 and 2, and now they're risking not making it past quarters in the third one, and they need those points, man. They need them desperately, and right now it really looks like Zeta is giving them absolutely nothing to play with.
Got to agree here. You know, I'm going to, you know what, I'll disagree, but just very little, because I think Zeta is giving them something to play with by not picking Meg. What's going on? Like, yes, you could just be aggressive against her. I think she's very strong right now. Probably would have shown her prowess here as well, but not the case. If you're SK Gaming, what's the biggest change you need to make?
I think draft is a problem in the first place. Something that SK used to master so well. It just doesn't seem like they quite get it their way, and I don't feel like they're necessarily playing the brawlers they pick all that badly. It's some fairly mad drafts all around, and I think with so much pressure on their shoulders as well, Zeta, they're happy with playing it safe at this point, you know, because they're calm and relaxed. They really don't have all that much to lose. They have such a strong head start, and they really got still a lot to win too, you know. So I don't know. I feel like Zeta are just very composed, and SK Gaming not really taking them out of their comfort zone.
Well said. I think Zeta Division is very, very comfortable, and well, SK Gaming might be playing from behind, but we're behind Zeta Division. Why is the camera? You know what? I was going to say no, go back so I could complain about it, but I don't want to say no. Don't go back. We can't even see these guys. I knew it was INSO because of the giant glasses, but like, come on now. Zeta Division, literally just turn around. We want to see you win. It's that simple. Much love. Sorta.
I agree with you. The reactions of the faces are nicer than the reaction of their backs. So, hot potato.
The old back of the head cam?
Yeah, we don't see a whole lot. You're absolutely right. Heist is coming up next, and I don't know, man. I feel like so far, Zeta and SK, like, they're playing the same way. They're two teams that like to play the same way, right? Play it rather safe and, you know, just go for a slow approach and steadily build up control and you know, improve their situation. The problem is Zeta is better at that gameplay. Mm-hmm. So if they play this way, I feel like Zeta can only win.
I agree there. Well said. I think I've got a little bit of a soapbox when it comes to the meta, and I think Brawl is kind of excellent at this in that there are some games where the meta is just stifling and you got to play it and that's it. But Brawl really offers a whole lot of gameplay options. And so Zeta Division are going to be the team that plays the standard meta, and they are the leaders. So they are going to do it better than you. So you have to bring something different. We saw all of the teams try to contest with their opponents in quarterfinals, bring something different. Now, whether or not it worked is a different story, but it certainly looked better than what we're seeing here in quarterfinal number 3. And so Colette selected off the rip again. Gonna note that there's no Meg ban, no Amber ban. As we jump into hot potato, maybe worth altering, maybe worth a who cares, as I think the Colette and the Coral are really good selections here for SK.
Yeah, I like them, but dude, the Barley is a threat. If you don't have any wall breaks, and that's not taking into consideration the you know, unbreakable walls that are going to be on the map as well, or something aggressive, it's scary how much value it can find. It's so hard to get out of position, and once he's there, I mean, I don't know how you dislodge him. He just gets so much value onto that save and can get into really aggressive positions as well. Surge, I think, is a pretty lovely pick here too, dealing directly with that curl and trying to make sure he doesn't get any value from his super. So I like the draft here so far, personally, more on the side of Zeta.
And I gotta say, I like the Surge pick as well as sort of a ban by way of pick. You just mentioned how Barley, well, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants as long as there's no wall break on the other side. So take Surge for yourself, removing some of the wall break available for SK. And Penny's going to work along with some of the walls as well. Last choice over here to the red squad. And it's going to be Bull, so there's some wall break there for sure. Do you like Bull?
I don't know. Well, it's still a little bit scary because I feel like... So my idea here against the party is you need either someone to, get him out of position by being very aggressive or by breaking walls, shooting over walls, or something along those lines. And Bull will be aggressive. We'll see what gadget the Barley is going to be going for because the heal is stronger overall, but the slow is going to be useful against the Carl. It's going to be useful against the Bull potentially too here. So... I don't know. I'm draft-wise, I'm on the side of Zeta, very much so, and we'll see how they play it out. They still got some chances. I mean, I don't think the draft is bad per se for SK. We'll have to see how well they execute their plans here.
And don't forget, I mean, you've got the free shot from Colette here. SK Gaming, as long as they farm up that super and they're able to get a push up, you're guaranteed a chunk off of the heist box. Jetton spinning, I guess. Will lose this match. No! Wins the matchup with help for the mid lane, Chaos. And opens up the door just a little bit, but ultimately it's the Barley doing the damage on the top side as SK's lost 40+% of their heist box. Zeta divisions, though, none too healthy either.
Right now, it's fairly even. The difference is that Surge was on stage 1, now he's on stage 4, which is a whole different level of a threat. Let's see what SK can do about it. Jenin is going towards that save, getting some good positioning. But now he is going to jump onto him, nearly goes down himself. Aikio's trying to reposition nicely, and he will be able to survive, I think. Does get reset, nearly doesn't quite make it out, but will be still up and standing for now as Yoshi gets jumped down by Naui. Nicely dispatches off that problem. As Zeta Division still have a lot of control, and Naui is just such a threat overall. Yoshi has nowhere to go. He's gonna dive to the save, but I think Gara can just close things out right here, right now.
Probably about 10% and counting for SK. And the Barley will toss one last over. Zeta Division 1 game away from walking to the semifinals. Just another day in the office, if you ask me. The Black and White seem pretty well poised to take advantage of, well, SK Gaming is usually the Black and White, but their jerseys are very colorful, so we'll lean on that one. But yeah, real talk, man, I think SK Gaming, Jetton, let's focus on the positives. IKS looked really good in that matchup. I liked what he was able to bring. Played this mid lane really well and used that Colette super to his advantage against the heist box. This time around, very different for SK. Jetton getting some damage on the left-hand side. And it's SK starting things off, 20% and counting, as they win left and mid.
They got the perfect lanes now as well. They have, I mean, not anymore, but they did have the bull that was going to be very aggressive, and the Con was able to get a lot of value onto the Barley. But maybe some lane swaps and Surge getting to further stages is going to be a different approach. The late game, on paper, should be favoring Zeta Division as Aikos goes down, and now he's back to stage 4. This is where disaster might strike for SK.
Now he does so much damage, plus the Barley. And Zeta Division does 50% to SK's box, but now SK on the backswing, dealing with Meow, and IKaos trying to go for the kill. Beautiful play by the enemy mid laner. The Chaos is able to win 48-24. SK Gaming with the lead. Now he inching on up and wins the duel. Has to fall back for defense though, Teddy. And Yoshi just barely staying alive. 13% left for ZD.
Now this was close. Jenin is still alive, but Garo's going to take him out, and the position is looking better and better here for Zeta. They do need to be careful because Yoshi is creeping up on the right side again. Now we should be able to take him out and without taking any damage. Instead, it's actually going to be very even. Meow gets some more damage on save. But actually, a team wipe here for SK. This is their chance to pick up their first game as Jeden gets a shot on save. Surely Yoshi
one more
gets through as well. And he'll close it out here for SK Gaming to finally pick up their first game when they desperately need it. But they have some presence on the leaderboards now.
Much better approach. And what I like about this win here is this didn't seem like a fluke, Teddy. It really seemed like, listen, it wasn't overall dominant, as Zeta Division able to fight into it, but SK Gaming won that game because they were the better team executing on the field in that one. And that's got to feel good.
Well, the start of this game is probably not going to be feeling the best for SK Gaming. 2 kills early on, favoring Zeta. Jeden gets some nice value on save, but is feeding Naui in the meantime, and Naui will be able to take the elimination in the end. Yoshi on the right wants to make a run for the save. Now he's there to prevent him from over-aggressing. Meow, incredibly low HP, will fall eventually. Jeden also low, not quite able to take down the mortar just yet.
Big plays in the mid from Naui, but iChaos able to answer this time around. Now Chaos going in deep, trying to find the kill out of Barley. Won't happen. Jeden didn't get the memo, so their damage was a little bit mistimed. Another Colette dive in again against the scrum. Yoshi trying to make the play, dives in, dies down. SK Gaming tied right now, 78-76, so all but essentially.
Now we have Naui back on stage 4. Yoshi aggressing, but we're just feeding supers at this point. We'll be getting a little bit of his back from the damage he takes. Beautiful kill from Naui. He's been so dominant on the surge. And now is Garrett able to get some nice connections on save. They'll be building up a nice and healthy lead. Garrett's still alive now as well, as iChaos is taking some more damage and needs to be really careful if he wants to be able to reset.
SK previously were not locked down this hard. Yoshi finally makes a play here in game number 3. Did well in 2, but not off to a great start so far. Zeta Division with the lead by about 17%, but here comes Yoshi again, and Colette, and Carl knocked out of the super, but it's still a bunch of damage. 39% left for Zeta Division, and Carl's still going.
And Jeden trying to get some more damage on save. iChaos gets a nice super to connect to.
Big
Surely
play.
This is going to be a set, and SK Gaming, just like a phoenix rising from the ashes, as it looked like it might just be it, are able to get the set, and now suddenly we have a match.
They are alive, folks. You'd truly love to see it. No bias, I just like to watch Brawl. So we're guaranteed a 4th set. Very amped up to see SK doing this again. This team, not even on the leaderboards, but certainly we know what they're capable of, and giving us a little glimpse of just that.
Yeah, as you said, no bias. You know, we don't have our predictions and honor and rewards on the line by predicting SK Gaming, but no bias for this one. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal stuff from SK, really. It did come down to the wire, you know, 5% in game 2. That's what was separating Zeta Division from the semifinals. SK Gaming, they pulled through, they made it work, and I absolutely respect that. I mean, having to, you know, make the calculations on a base race in the last second like that, when there's only 5% of a difference and you're down to a match point, you need to be very cold-blooded to do all that successfully, and SK Gaming looking good here in this 3rd set. It took them 5 games in a row, I believe, from Zeta before SK pick up their first, but now they have a second, and I mean, at this pace, we might really have a match on our hands.
I mean, here's the thing, man. You said in order to do what they did, you got to be really cold-blooded. I haven't doubted SK Gaming's ability to be cold-blooded, that winner mentality, ice in the veins, clutch Kobe, whatever you want to call it. Chaos has been on stage before. We've literally heard him, right? This guy's kind of loud. And so, like, that whole conversation, that is why they won. But that's not why I doubt this team. I doubt this team. If I were to doubt this team, it would come from lack of communication. SK Gaming have tried to make some big plays, and largely it's focused on iChaos, as he's my star of this team. But sometimes it really feels like he knows it, and he tries to play hero ball. But they won that last set because he went in at the same time as Yoshi and Jetten, and they played together. Communication will win this set. It's just a matter of SK, do they have it or not? And Brawl Ball, certainly a communication tester for sure, as we jump in here in our fourth set. Could be the final one if Zeta has their way. If not, we go to dry season for Bounty.
Just going back 1 second on the stats earlier, just amongst two players, they had 660 damage on the side of Zeta Division for 33 kills. Just a massive difference compared to the few kills SK had. But SK, they got the value on save they needed. At the end of the day, you play objective, you win. And promo is just the same. Let's see if they can apply this again coming into set number 4.
Listen, man, it's about the stuff after the stuff. Kills count in Bounty, sure, But what about that? What about the objectives, baby? Gene, selected here for Zeta alongside the long-range Gus, and now option over to SK. They've got one already. Who complements this pick for SK? Amber not available.
It's a tough goal, to be completely honest. We could see some more long-range approaches across the board, as we do already have that idea. Let's be fair, Janet will do the job. Very much long range and provide some AoE damage as well, which is always very nice if you need to deal with any spawner balls or multiple opponents pushing up your lane. And her gadget as well, drop the base, just really strong both on a defensive position or to aggress if you manage to get towards those top walls. But still got a final pick for both sides, and it's going to be RT, so really keeping that sharpshooter approach. Lots of damage from afar here for SK Gaming. Zeta Division more utility based for now, and their final pick still to be decided.
RT, an interesting choice here. Will be good on the defensive end. And looking to complement the draft here from Zeta will be Carl one more time. Again, just evergreen, aggressive type character. Backyard Bowl. I'm liking what Zeta brings to the table largely off of the gene, but ultimately this will just be, I think, he who brawls better. The RT is a little bit experimental, but a strong brawler nonetheless. I think both these drafts are attractive, but I lean towards Zeta.
Yeah, I like it a lot because they both have very different ideas. It's very much going to be utility versus sharpshooters, and then just a little bit of aggression the Calm can bring in. Same for the Bonnie, obviously if you have your super. But the ideas are fairly different, and as you said, and yet the draft feels fairly even. Let's find out in game how they're able to play this one out, as it is going to be as passive as you expect Backyard Bowl to be in the early stages, just trying to get some supers to open up the situation.
Yoshi in the mid, but it's Chaos that steps forward first. And here's a big jump in from Jetten. Nice kill across the way. And Giro trying to chase down Chaos, but ultimately nothing happening here, as Chaos will have to be pushed out and a reset.
Yeah, I feel like SK Gaming, that's such good control, but maybe trying to force that aggression a little bit too much without really having the utility to do so. The pull is going to connect onto Yoshi. That's going to be an ensured kill. A jump in from Jetta that lands really in the middle of everyone, but not able to get value onto anyone, therefore. Zykios is flying over, just trying to reset the heals, but unsuccessfully so.
Ooh, the pull
from Yaoya is going to be problematic here for SK.
Well, Zeta needs to step up now that they've got the kill and the one after the fact. The third comes through as well. Pick up the ball, boys. Giro and Meow both turn around. The pull misses, but the shot does not. And Zeta are the first ones on the board.
There's nothing Jeden could have done in defense. The pull was just preventing him from getting in range to block the ball. So beautifully done by Zeta. And again, the slow approach is going to be in their favor. Pass to Jeden, goes for the shot, but it's going to be a miss. Meow would have been able to catch him either way, most likely. And this aggression from SK is quickly deflating as we head towards the final 25 seconds of this game, and SK Gaming desperately need a goal.
I like it, deflating. Gus got a balloon. Well, now he's got an attack here. Left side, and the pull mid side. And so with the double kill here, SK Gaming, no shot to win this one. As we count down from 10, Zeta Division with game one.
Yeah, this is got to be heartbreaking for SK. They go from facing a match point to turning it into their favor for the high set, and then the next set immediately facing a match point again. But we did have some signs of life from SK here and there. Just gotta do better getting into game number 2, which could very much be their last one unless they're able to reverse sweep this set just like they did for Heist.
I think earlier I said I liked both drafts, but I'm seeing not much out of SK. I don't know if it's a draft issue or not, but I don't see their game plan here, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like their initiator is really gonna be Jeden, right? Try to just jump in with a super, and he messed up his jumps for the most part in the previous game. And if that's the case, there's just not all that much they can do with their comp, to be honest. And Jeden's gonna try to make a run for the call. Does manage to at least secure the trade, which is gonna give up just a little bit more control that Zeta would have had otherwise.
So usually, like, you want to find that secondary win con. If Jeden's not landing these supers, where do you go as SK?
Home. That's where you go.
I mean, that just might be true as the pull comes through and everybody winds up on Zeta's side. Jeden barely alive. Scratch that. Toasted. Ball not in scoring position just yet. But Zeta winning that scrum means the next time they win, the ball should certainly find a home in the back of the net. Jeden jumps in. Jeden goes home. Chaos takes to the sky. And SK stems the bleeding for a moment. Zeta Division coalesced around left side. Pull and kill. 2 more to play defense. But the swing in is strong. Carl does go down. Is that going to be good enough?
Oh, beautiful kill from Jeden, actually. Didn't really see this one coming. Jumping in with 2 HP. Doesn't even land on target. But still gets the kill nevertheless. Not a lot of time left, but SK might be able to snatch in a goal just in the nick of time. They have the positioning for it, but they need an opening, and right now they just don't really have anything to do just that.
Answers trouble without Jeden Super. They don't really have many options. Killing Giro just raw will help out. Yoshi stepping forward, but gets smoked out by Carl. SK have to go now. This is their only opportunity. Countdown till overtime. Pull in. And it's taken too long. Now he goes in on the left-hand side. Jeden taken care of. And with OT happened, Zeta Division now poised and ready to make their mark in the semifinals. Pass upfield here.
Oh,
and there's the dash in.
A little bit of a messy fight there. I thought that surely Zeta would close this one out right here, right now, but at the end of the day, it's a 2-on-2 and a bit of a reset.
What a change here, the unbreakable walls. Big difference in 2023 Brawl. Nice long-range shot coming out from the RT. And now it's SK Gaming pushing forward with 21 seconds on the clock. Respawn comes through. So back to the 3-on-3. Zeta now hiding behind the unbreakable wall. And something's got to give. iChaos playing it real safe, backing up. But that means it's time for SK to step forward. Jetton goes too far. There's the pull. The shot's defended. We go again.
That was scary. That was scary. SK almost out, but not quite. And it does feel like game after game, they're playing better and better, but it doesn't help when you start the series off 2 sets behind. Let's see if they can try to contest this set and maybe take us all the way to a 5th. We're not there just yet. Another match point here for SK to face.
Front-loaded composition here. I think we've done all of the whiteboard work. Jetton needs to land the jump. That's what needs to happen. Giro and Chaos on the right side, both barely alive. iChaos lands the kill. Jetton jumps in, finds his as well. That went successfully, and the goal comes as well. Beautiful play from SK Gaming.
100 HP in it. That's what Jetton had left when he picked up the kill on the Gene. Close, but close enough here for SK Gaming.
Yep.
They'll lock in that goal, and now Zeta Division are the ones that need to aggress. Garo gets iChaos very low HP. Jetton's gonna fall to Naui, and suddenly there's a bit of a chance the pull from Meow will connect, and they're gonna maybe try to make a run for it. No, they'll play it safe, and that seems like the more wise decision as well. 2-on-3 should not be scoreable here for Zeta, and slow and steady approach is gonna be favored.
Jetton jumps in. This time gets a trade out. So a 2-on-2. The pull is good, and a 2-on-1. Ball castled in the top right here. Good choice by SK. They've got to last an entire minute now, though, in order to find themselves with a Game 2A victory.
Oh, he's pushing
Now
in.
left-hand side.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Big damage, Teddy.
This is looking good for Zeta. Man advantage. iChaos goes down. Yashi gets pulled as well. And it's only Jetton left in defense, but what can he do on his own? Surely Zeta are going to be scoring this one in, and they don't waste this opportunity. 30 seconds left, and it seems like overtime is looking more and more likely.
With both teams scored, I think so as well. Real quick, who has the upper hand in overtime on paper?
I think it's fairly even, to be honest, but considering Zeta have been playing better, I would still say Zeta. But it is fairly even. And overtime is looking more and more likely now as well. 5 seconds left, and it seems like Zeta Division very much going to be in the driver's seat as the walls break open, but they're the ones with just a little bit more positioning. Can they convert is a real question. Beautiful vengeful spirits from Meow to get some value across the board. Now he's going in, but gets punished for that overextension, and suddenly SK Gaming got one more player alive, but is that going to be enough to score? They have 2 supers, maybe some charge shots, but a beautiful gene pull here from Meow. But iChaos is still flying. The pass to Jetton, it goes into the net, and SK Gaming are contesting this set with a game of their own.
And they are gaming, man! We are closer! So you're saying there's a chance. One more game to bring us to set 5. And I'll be honest, I thought we were going to be out of here quick. I saw those first 2 sets and thought, but now I'm thinking, and it's up to SK to make me cheer. Big start for the red team this time around. At the end of the day, this is a confidence composition. Jetton has to feel good about going in. Hasn't had a reason to this set, to be fair, but that last one might change. Shot goes in through the defense. Beautiful play by SK.
How do SK build up this confidence after they lost the first 5 games of this match? But now, that overaggression is going to get punished just a little bit, and Garo actually might going down. Yeah, that's
nice.
A bit of a problem, because now Yoshi has the ball, can just push it away, and there's really not a push coming up from this one, but Meow is able to get a beautiful pull to connect, and that kill will grant a ton of control here favoring Zeta.
Well, now it's Zeta with the wind beneath their wings. 3 players strong in the enemy zone. And this one should be an easy score. Walks it in. 1-1. And we're just barely over a minute left to play in regulation. If Zeta Division wins this, it's over. If SK Gaming win this, we go to a set 5. And we see what Zeta Division can do all the way home.
Well, this
this going in here for the play.
It's very scary for SK. Look at the control now for Zeta. They're pushing up. So close to the goal. The pool connects as well. And then a 3-on-2 Chaos just simply does not have the damage to contest. That's it. Zeta should be moving forwards. No. Never mind.
No.
Not just yet. The defense stands somehow for SK. Bit of a messy push there from Zeta. And suddenly, SK, they're just not out just yet.
Heck yeah. I'm excited. Kobe on the clock. SK Gaming gotta find something to do here now. Looking at Jetton, no super available. Remember, that's been SK Gaming's largest initiation tool this entire set. When things work out for Jetton, they work out for SK. Red team clearly waiting for overtime. And now Chaos inching over to the right-hand side. Pushes the ball forward. It's OT. And Jetton jumps into the back line. Meow goes down. Now he trying to defend, gets the kill, but Yoshi does as well. That's going to be a team wipe. Pass it from Chaos. Can they score it? Yes, they can. We're going to a set 5.
No way. SK, make it happen. And we are going all the way in this series. Again, 5 games in a row from 0-0 to match point for Zeta without SK getting a single game. But now suddenly, we're going to set 5. And honestly, I mean, I'm all down for it. I'm all down for it. What a phenomenal comeback here from SK Gaming, but it's not the end of the journey whatsoever. Still dry season to play out for the 5th set. And I mean, what a challenge is that going to be for both teams?
This, I need to give all the credit in the world to SK and whoever is out there, not only doing the draft, but talking to the squad. Because again, Teddy, you nailed it. The way this SK Gaming team wins this last one is, did Jetton initiate successfully? If not, you lose. If yes, this happens. And they're able to team wipe and score. Even if they lose someone, even if Jetton, how many times did we see Jetton survive with 2 HP, 100 HP, just barely alive? That's what's going to happen. This is an all confidence, all just, I believe in this comp, win it or lose it on this play. And SK Gaming did not have much momentum despite winning the set before this. So this was a confidence call from SK. And I'm glad they made it. Because of that, they find themselves in set 5 where, you know, Teddy, I think Zeta Division kind of had the momentum here, even with SK winning 1 or 2. Arc going nuts, as he should. But now that we're here in set 5, Teddy, I think it's anyone's game.
Again. Look at the stats. So dominant for Zeta Division, but they lose the set. We have 33 kills.
It's about the objectives. Got to score.
It was 33 kills for Naui and Meow combined. Now this time around, it's 37. It's huge. It's more than the entire SK Gaming roster. And Garo is not even having a bad match either, you know? But still, SK Gaming, they're the ones closing out the games right now. And they're the ones that push this series to a set 5. And there's going to have to be some changes for Zeta Division because they're getting so many kills, so much damage, but not the value that you would expect. You know, they need to convert.
Let me respond with yes and. That's what I'm going to say here. The Zeta Division has been very strong, and we've seen them time and time again win in the numbers, but lose when it comes to the objective categories, right? The heist box or the brawl ball. Well, we're ending this set in bounty. There is no objective. There is no stuff after said stuff. It's just about the kills, man. Now, obviously, there's some nuance with playing passive, and we've got a new little hit 20 thing, but this is just brawl. And so far, Zeta Division has been the better team at brawling. That said, I think it's lined up for a Zeta win.
I agree with you, to be completely honest. I feel like when it comes to just the duels and getting the kills, it's been all Zeta. And SK Gaming, they've been able to win just because of some big gambles here and there, taking some risks and some outplays as well. And just being able to convert more from those specific outplays rather than the consistency that Zeta have had throughout the series. Even the sense they lose in a division, they get more kills, they get more damage. In Bounty, that's going to be a whole different affair because that just wins you the game straight up. And Penny and Gus locked in already, very common picks here for Zeta Division. I mean, they love that Gus, and I mean, obviously they do have, you know, the world champion skin on the Gus too, in not quite under their name, but it is their skin very much, you know, as it has the colors of Zeta. And maybe that is part why, but also part why is because they play it so well. So it's scary for SK Gaming. We'll see if we maybe see some throwers in the mix as well, as we do have the ban on the tick, but something like Sprout or Grom is still open, and we know that IKEOS does love himself some Sprout.
And there it is. Last selection here for SK to go along with some long-range choices with the Bell. And then the last pick here for Zeta Division. They've got some long-range damage and obviously the turret on the other side. Curious to see where they go for this last choice. Oh, I got baited. I saw the blue come in. I thought we were getting the pick.
Yeah, I thought so too. But 3 seconds left. It's going to be great. And that is both an interesting and a risky final pick to bring in here for the division. I mean, you TP on the Sprout, you kill him, right? But if you play it well as a team, it's still really scary. So I like the idea, but I definitely feel like SK could win this one. I prefer their draft personally.
You prefer their draft over SK Gaming's, or?
I prefer SK's draft over Zeta Division's.
And is it just about the gray? Because the gray is definitely the weird pick, so to speak.
I like the Sprout a lot, you know? I feel like they don't have tons of way to deal with him, and if he just stays away from the great TP, he should be fine. Plays with his team, should be fine. But that's all in theory. That's all on paper. In practice, it usually gets pretty wild. And Blue Star is going to be picked up by SK, so they get to play defensively. Yashi with first blood as well, as now he falls on the left side, and that's 3 stars early on in favor of SK.
Gray definitely had trouble dealing with the thrower on the left side. At the end of the day, long range, you know, sharpshooter. That's, I think, what Gray intends to bring to the table here. Him and Gus sharing this, playing this mid-left matchup is probably the better choice. A little bit of a yank, and that's where the Gray comes through. Little baby Gene, essentially. But so far, it's SK with the lead, 3 versus 0. Blue Star as well. And IKEOS here tosses down the super and brings me out down to just 1 HP or about. No kill.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities here for SK, but they're also not giving away any kills. Nearly lost Jeden earlier, a bit of a lane swap, but it's going to be matched by Zeta. So they're happy to keep those matchups. And SK are not really enforcing them with that pacing. Beautiful kill from IKEOS, 5 stars now. Now he is low HP, but Jeden is going to be running away back to safety, rather flying away in this situation. 25 seconds left in Zeta Division. They desperately need to push up.
A little bit of a strikeout there for me as far as Jeden super. Now he very low though. Left side dies and SK gets another one. 8 seconds to go. All SK has to do is not die here. Jeden takes to the sky. That should be it. SK Gaming 1 away from the big win and going to semis. Zeta Division, they didn't make a noise in that one.
We've had 4 match points, 5 match points with the draw. We've had 5 match points for Zeta. And now finally, the first match point for SK Gaming. And, I mean, we'll see if they end up choking as much as Zeta have. But that game looked confident, and Jeden is still alive. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Blue Star is still in the middle, so it's actually a tie right now. Garo is low HP, still standing as well, but the connection from Mike Chaos is going to give a narrow lead in favor of SK by just the 2 stars.
Well played. Fantastically played by SK. They've got to keep it going here. From about 80 seconds. And Chaos getting very aggressive. Last time around, it was pretty much off of this one moment, and they all hit the gas. SK have a lead, though. Can play it a little safe, despite not having the blue star, but Zeta's not going to let him, pushing up forward and cornering SK into their side of the map.
Now it's going to miss another pull, and that's going to cost him his life. 4 stars in favor of SK Gaming. We are in our final minute, potentially, of this quarterfinal. Jeden does take a small chunk of damage. Shield going to be popped onto Meow to try to allow him to still peek that right lane. Doesn't quite get the angle. Yashi healing back up. Jeden low, Jeden falls. It's only 1 star now. And SK Gaming, they're going to try to hold on to this one very, very dearly.
I think they need to get aggressive. 20 seconds to go. Zeta Division lurking in here. Jeden takes to the sky. And 15 on the clock. SK are staring at that clock. 1 star separates our teams. And Jeden, 400 HP. Here comes Meow. Now Jeden healing up, hiding behind. Yoshi gets the kill. That's it. It's done. Zeta Division #1 in the region out in quarterfinals. SK Gaming to semis.
Zeta Division have won both the monthly finals of February and March, undefeated in monthly finals so far in 2023 until today, where SK Gaming, playing their first monthly final match of the year, are here to take them down in a full-on reverse sweep. What a story here for SK Gaming. They had no success whatsoever until this month. And now, I mean, they did the unthinkable. And they're moving on to the semifinals, taking down the Titans that are Zeta Division.
I mean, this is huge for SK Gaming. Not only do they get the community buff, the "yeah, we did it, boys, hurrah, hooray" type moment as they take down Zeta Division, but also big picture. Listen, they're number 10 coming into today. They're number 10 on the leaderboards, which means we don't even put them on the graphic. Like but they're there. Now this win, all of a sudden they find themselves in semis. Maybe they find themselves in the finals this time around. We have more competitions later on throughout the year. They are very, very far in the back of the pack, Teddy. But they can see the front, and this is the first moment where they actually feel the wind behind them. And they're like, hey, maybe we can get this going. If SK doesn't win this one, then the whole big story can never even leave the ground. So this could be the beginning of something wonderful for SK Gaming. And how picture perfect it would be if it was, and it starts with the downfall of Zeta Division.
MVP voted in by you guys at home.
Yep.
Is gonna be at Chaos, and honestly, 100% fantastic series from him, and his product plays in the final set were the difference maker for me. And he played it phenomenally towards the end as well. He baited in so many pulls from the gray, and then once he put that wall towards the end, there's nothing they could do. They had no way of taking that wall out or taking them out of that position. That was GG's, and I mean, for me, that deserves just by itself the title of MVP.
Completely agree. I do want to give a shout out to my man Jeden. I said his name a whole bunch this set. I think especially in that brawl ball situation, like it's really that simple. SK go into this match and go hit your jumps or we lose. And he winds up doing it towards the end. And that's a scary situation to be in. So, Chaos, that is a matchup where SK Gaming are the most valuable player, because it was teamwork that sort of made the dream work there. Forgive the cliche, but at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes it happens. Great stuff there for SK Gaming with the victory over Zeta Division. And so I think